Daniel Pratt, infrastructure architect, private and other, as vRealize automation. Primary use case is generally a DevOps lab type environment that we have spread across multiple locations throughout the United States. So it's meant for a DevOps shop for our developers to spin up and spin down VMs or applications and do their testing. I would say the extensibility of it and the customization of a lot of the blueprints that you can customize, and the community at a whole. There's a ton of community generated blueprints that might be just set up and designed for your automation needs, so we can kind of use as a base and go on from there and make changes to it. Will probably be the biggest thing. So the deployment of it, I would say, is not overly intuitive. It does require some knowledge about putting it out there and deploying it. Once it's deployed, managing it, I think, is pretty intuitive. So. Big time cost savings for administrative overhead, having to constantly manage virtual machines, spin them up, spin them down manually. We could automate all that now, and most developers will be able to access a page landing zone and do that all themselves, rather than having an admin or someone on the team have to do it for them. So, as far as increasing the infrastructure agility, I mean, I think that goes back to maybe what I was talking about with the cost savings. I mean, being able to tear down entire development enclaves with essentially pushing a button or a command line and spin them all back up is immensely valuable for an agile development shop. So I think that does help to an extent, but that, to me, I'm also thinking on the back end, technical end, depending on which environment I'm on, might have flash, or in some areas might have old spinning disks, so the speed is going to be limited to that as well. But as far as the software itself and using the API calls, it's definitely, I would say, speedy. Yeah, so definitely, I think that is one of the main aspects of the product line is for having that to be in place, to not have to call up Joe Schmo admin to say, hey, can you go manage this for me, spin this up for me. You can have a portal for, like I said, a developer, another user log in, spin up the resources, shut them down if they need to, request apps, and all without having to bother, your admin next door. So I think so, yeah, definitely. I haven't had any stability issues with it. Scalability, yeah, I have no issues with that as well. As long as I have the compute, storage, and network bandwidth to support it, the underlying infrastructure is there, then yeah, it's pretty expandable. It's been fine, adequate, not really had any need for it per se. It's more so self-taught, and people going to training and learning how to use it. So if we have an issue, it's generally really rare that we'd have to reach out and talk to tech support. So not a lot of experience having to deal with them on it. Yes, I have, and that is definitely not the easiest of things to do generally. As long as you follow the checklist and which product line you're updating, in the specific order, you won't break your system. But yeah, if you don't follow the sheet or the law, you will definitely hose yourself up big time. So I would say the deployment mechanisms for the initial deployment of the product line lacks, I think, the appropriate documentation to maybe give someone who's never used it before. Obviously, you want people who are knowledgeable on the product line before they deploy it, but there might be cases where someone wants to go to the website, go to the doc section, and do basically step-by-step on how to deploy it, and that's really not as brushed up as I think I've seen other documents that they have. So I think that would definitely be an improvement on their end with it. Outside of that, I mean, it's been every version they've updated the UI, scalability, adding new products to be able to work with different cloud vendors. So overall, I think that part of it's fine. Other what? Vendors? As far as automation techniques, maybe like Chef or Puppet or Ansible, any of those, sure. I mean, it's kind of like the age-old thing, Mac, Windows, Linux, whatever works for what I need, I'll use. So I don't really have a preference as long as it works what I need. So I would make sure that they know what they're getting into first off, and that what it's for, and what they might need it for, because I might recommend maybe a less robust product line for their needs, as opposed to something that's more of like a higher infrastructure, corporation level product line like vRealize. So.